Okay, so I let go, let it rip. That's what we're here doing this month. Okay, so I want to start with one of the lyrics there, and it was this. Skeletons and ghosts are hiding in the shadows, threatening me with all the things they know. How many skeletons and ghosts are threatening you with all the things they know about you? I'm giving you a moment to figure it all out. I mean, really, think about that. How many things in our past still threaten us somehow because they think they know us? We think we know ourselves based on these skeletons in the past. We think we know who we are because of how we've lived, what we've done, what we've accomplished, who we've circulated with. We think we know, and yet one of the strongest, most powerful places to be is a state of where you know nothing and allow Spirit to know everything through you. I say, I know nothing. Now what can I know? To just block it all out. And Laurie Donato did a great meditation before service, literally about that, about just letting it all go. And she read this quote from Mark Nepo, so I know most of you don't come to meditation. You might want to try it. But I would like to read this, if I can possibly, because I didn't bring my glasses. Something's there. Sometimes, this will be fun, sometimes there's just too much to consider, too much to understand and analyze. Too many consequences to play out in our mind, too many things to clean, unpack, or repair before we can go out and play. How many of you resonate with that? Because I resonated with it this morning. All the things that are there that I have to do and figure out and think, selling this building is not an easy thing. Everything in this building has to go to wherever the next space is, which I don't know what that is yet. So there's so much going on in my mind right now that the thought of having any time to just calmly just contemplate life, I try to do that, and everything, anybody have this, things just keep bombarding you. You go, and now I'm going to meditate. Where are you going to be? Where are you going to go to church? What are you going to do at the church? What are you going to do at this? Oh, we got to move that thing. We got to move the piano out of the middle room up top. And then you just sit there and you're like, wow, that was the most calm 5 minutes. I could have just been doing it all instead, and I would have been more relaxed. So that's what I want to talk about today, which is this idea of really letting go, being willing to really let go of everything. Let go of your past, let go of the present, let go of, and this is one of the biggies, let go of everything you think you need to accomplish. Let go of the person you think you need to become. Because let me tell you, very often, what you think you need to become isn't who you are going to become. Do you get that? That control issue. Anybody here have controlling issues? I mean, I don't, but you probably do. We all have. I don't know if I want to be happy that you laughed or not. So I have some controlling issues, but I really have worked on it because I get it. I get it. Every time I control something and try to make it work out the way I want it to work out, it is exhausting, isn't it? And it doesn't. It still does what it does. And now you're trying to go, okay, what did I do wrong? You did nothing wrong, except that you tried to control it, and you didn't allow it. You didn't just let go and let it rip. And that's what this whole month is about. So the title of my talk today is, It's Not What You Think. It's not what you think. And before I go to the metaphysical side of that, I want to tell you a little story about something that happened this week. So I put a little post on Facebook that I had to fly to New York for overnight. And I didn't tell anybody what it was because I didn't want my children to know what it was I was doing. And so I just put, off to New York, 24 hours, I'll let you all know what it was about. Oh my God, I had like 486 comments. Oh my God, you're moving back to New York. Oh, you got a Broadway show. Oh, you're changing your whole life again. I'm like, what? Really? And I had people, literally, Jonathan Zenz called me from Toronto. He goes, I'm sorry, I cannot wait. What is it? So I did tell him. So what I did was, what happened this week was, so it's not what you think. It wasn't what anyone thought. Nobody could have figured out what I actually went to New York to do, especially since I just got back from New York last week. And then I took a red eye and came back the next day. What could have possibly, what drastic thing must have happened to make me do that. Well, let me tell you. So on Monday, Kevin gets a phone call. We're just sitting in the kitchen calmly, and he gets a phone call from, her name's Patty Cicente, who's Bernadette Peters' assistant. Assistant's does not really qualify what that woman does, but so she calls Kevin and she says, we are getting, Patty, by the way, Bernadette Peters does this thing called Bark, where she literally, one of her big things in life, besides being one of the most amazing singer-actresses of our time, she really deals with saving rescue dogs and spends a lot of her time doing this. So Bernadette and Patty call Kevin and say, we're getting a litter of Border Collie puppies in from Texas, and we know that James and you love Border Collies, and it's probably time for you to have another dog. So we will give you the pick of the litter. So we'll show you, we'll FaceTime and show you them, and you'll pick one, and we'll bring it in when we come in August. So Kevin turns, and I hear him talking, and I'm like, what the heck is he talking about? What? So he turns to me and he says, I think it's time for us to have a dog. And I say, okay. He says, but there's some Border Collie puppies coming in from that. And I say to him, I cannot pick out a dog through FaceTime. I said, I'm sorry. I need a dog to jump on me. I need to experience the dog. I need to feel the energy of the dog. I have to know the consciousness of the dog. Does the dog relate well to me? Does it like me? So I said, I can't find that out through FaceTime. We're going to have to go there. And he's like, the litter's coming in tomorrow. I said, perfect. We'll take the red eye tomorrow night, Tuesday night. We'll get in the morning on Wednesday at like 6 a.m. We'll go to Brooklyn to the rescue place, shelter, and we will see the puppies, and then we'll pick one. So I call my friend Chris Hanlon in Florida, and Chris, who works for JetBlue, sets it up so that Kevin and I fly for free. He gets us our trip to on the red eye, coming back the next day at 5 o'clock. So we do this insane thing. Now, I called Jennifer O'Neill, our treasurer, because I had a meeting with her I had to cancel, and I said, so Jennifer, we're going to go get a dog. She goes, get two. I was like, I'm not getting two dogs. I said, can you imagine how much work that is? She goes, how hard was it to have two kids, twins? I was like, that's a good point. I said, they kept each other company a lot. So I turned to Kevin and I went, let's get two. So he went from thinking he was going to have to talk me into it with two, let's have two. So we decided to get two dogs, not one, two puppies, two 10-week-old puppies. So we get to New York, we get to, we're having a really fun time doing this. I haven't really thought it through yet. And we get to the shelter, we get to the kennel, and there are 9 puppies from 2 different litters, and they are Border Collie mixed with Pit Bull and Australian Shepherd mixed with Pit Bull. Apparently the Pit Bull gets around. So, and they were gorgeous, gorgeous. One was solid white, one was black that looked just like our old dog Max, and they were just gorgeous. And here's the irony. There was only one that when they showed us all the pictures the day before, I went, definitely not that one. That's the one I got. So, but I was like, definitely not that one. He looks mean. He looks like he's going to be an angry dog. So we get there, and that's the first one that just jumps up on me. And I pick it up, and it's got these blue-green eyes. And it just looked to me and went, hi. And I was like, no, I already said no to you. And it's following me around. And I'm like, and so Kevin sees it, and Kevin's like, that's the one I want. I get, yeah, definitely. And it's a brindle. Do you know what a brindle is? Just all these different colors. And then there was another brindle, so I picked it up, and it was a female. So we got 2, a male and a female, just like Will and Nora. And they're both brindles. And so then we had to figure out, how do we get them? What do we carry them in? We're going on a 6-hour flight back with 2 puppies that are very rambunctious. And we took this flight back from New York. On this plane, we were separated, put in middle seats, which I never accept. Middle seats. I did everything I could. They were like, they're the only 2 seats left. So now I'm sitting in a middle seat with a dog in a bag underneath the seat. I had the female, who was so calm, she spent the whole 6 hours just sitting there looking at me and every now and then just asking for a pet. That was it. Kevin had that one that I said no to. And it refused to stay in its kennel, and it kept its head up the whole time, looking around, crazy. And the stewardesses, they all fell in love with it so much, he became a pass-around dog. So he just was going, all the kids were there, and this dog was just the life of the party. Then we got them home, and we haven't slept since. And the reason why I tell you this story, besides it's a beautiful story, and I will have them around the center as soon as they're allowed to be out in public. So the title of my talk is It's Not What You Think. There was a dog there that looked just like my dog Max, and it was very sweet. And there was something in me that just, my heart started to break a little bit, thinking of my other dog. And then I realized I was attached to the past. I was really attached to Max and my first dog, Jeremiah. And I really start feeling attached to them. And when I got home, the following day, with these two beautiful puppies there, I had puppy remorse. I did. Do you ever have buyer's remorse? And I'm looking at these dogs and I'm thinking, what have I done? I'm responsible to them for the rest of their life, which is like probably another 15 years. My dogs always live long. 15 years, I will be older. You know, this is the next 15 years of my life. The kids are going to college in 2 years. Yeah, it's good bait to get them to come home. But, you know, so I've got this for the next 15 years. And it's not what you think. So Henry David Thoreau says this: as a single footstep will not make a path on the earth, so a single thought will not make a pathway in the mind. To make a deep physical path, we walk again and again and again. To make a deep mental path, we must think over and over the kind of thoughts we wish to dominate our lives. So, as I sat there on Thursday morning, they woke me up at 6 a.m. and I took them outside and the sun was just breaking. And I sat there with this little bit of remorse, looking at two of the most loving, unconditionally loving creatures on this planet. And I sat on their big dog bed that we'd bought them, and they just jumped all over me, and then finally got busy with their new surroundings. And I just sat there. The sun was coming up, I'm watching them, and I realized that there are things in our heart, as the song talked about, there are things in our heart that still have a hold on us in such a way that doesn't let us experience the new. Doesn't let us experience that which is about to come. That doesn't let us experience the gigantic energy that life is. Holding on to this building is one of those things too. I walk around this building and I think I am going to walk out of this building for the last time at some point. I really am. And am I going to be willing to walk out of this building and cut the cord, knowing that it was all beautiful, it was all wonderful, I loved so much about this, most of it in fact, but am I willing to cut it and then walk into the new? Because unless you are willing to let this go, you're not going to find the new. You're going to be too busy looking backwards. You're going to be too busy looking back. I sat there thinking about Max, my dog, running around the yard, when I had Cooper Mia, running around the backyard. And I'm thinking about Max for a moment. And then I went, no, you know what? Okay, I'm just going to, and this is what happened. I was like, you know what? I'm just going to open up to this experience. I'm going to open my heart up bigger than I've ever opened it up. I'm going to love only. I'm going to love only. And as I did, it was as though the two of them on the same wavelength stopped what they were doing, looked back at me, and came charging at me, and literally dove onto me, knocked me over. And I was like, wow, that's what happens when you open your heart. The universe knocks you over. The universe says, now I can give you everything. If you are absolutely willing to let it all go, I can give you everything. But the more you hold on to things, I just can't pull you away from that. So what's it going to be? Are you going to let it go and let it rip? Or are you going to sort of let it go, but hold on a little bit? Well, this center is in the process of really letting it go. I don't know where we're going to be. And I was just about to say, I'm okay with that. And a filter went, no, you're not. So there's a big part of me that's okay with that because I understand the metaphysical power of not having to know. There's also a part of me that I have apparently fostered my whole life that's not okay with it because I need to figure it out. Now there needs to come a really beautiful place where they come together, where you're figuring it out with the understanding that it's going to unfold perfectly, because that is the way my life unfolds. So, Ernest Holmes says this: never limit your view of life by any past experience. Never limit your view of life by any past experience. So this month, we're all getting the opportunity to look at our past and to let it go. The good stuff too, the great stuff. Because one of the pitfalls with the great stuff is we keep trying to repeat it. Or we keep saying, this was so great, and we hold it at such a high standard, everything else seems to just peter out. So it's not just about looking back and letting go of the things that we don't like. It's letting go of it all. Are you willing to be a free spirit? There was a great piece that Margaret Owens wrote last night. And she wrote, one of her pieces was about a jingle writer. And he was trying to write a song about for a cruise line. And she created two characters, the writer and then this character called Flo. The Flo. And Flo was hysterical. Just running all over the stage and trying to help the guy figure it out. Well, guess what? Every single one of us has flow. We do. We have flow. We either listen to it or we don't. We either shove it down or we let it out. So this whole month of letting it go, how many of you are watching the Olympics? Oh, it's amazing watching these Olympics. Michael Phelps, what a brilliant man. To come back again and just keep winning and winning and winning. And the other day, when he won the silver in that one meet, he won the silver, and I heard myself say, "Aw." I did. And I was like, did you just aw a silver? As if he didn't get the gold. Oh, well, he lost. It's just a mindset, And I don't think he thought about it, because the next day he won the gold again in something else. Because guess what? If he did think about it, and he was really pissed off that he won the silver, he probably would have won the bronze the next day. Because that's how it works. It keeps going down as you hold on and keep getting more pissed off, more annoyed. It just keeps pushing you down. I know, because I have been there. I remember that first time I didn't get the part, which was shocking to me. I auditioned for something and I didn't get it. And I had a string of I walked in and you should all go home. That was my mindset. And then this one time, Andrew Lloyd Webber did not think I was particularly right for Cats. Looking back, what a great choice he made. Cats now and forever, but not for me. So, and I remember going, how did I not get Cats? This is absurd. I mean, who's better? I mean, really? And I'd go through this whole thing. And so then it became a crapshoot, because the I didn't get Cats stayed with me. I held on to it. And I took it to the next audition, and there's a little part of me that's going, I might not get this. And so then I would get it, I wouldn't get it. I have a string of successes, someone wouldn't hire me. And frankly, in the end, you don't get everything you go out for, because the universe knows what is yours to do. It was never mine to do, to put on that horrific makeup and slink around the Winter Garden Theater, gnawing at people's feet. Right, Bob Marcy? It was hell, wasn't it? Yeah. So I remember going to see it and going, I never want to do this. People, at one point I was looking at the stage and some actor was trying to nibble at my feet. I almost had a heart attack. How many of you saw Cats? Fools. Okay, so the thing is the mind. It's about your mind. This whole philosophy is about your mind. Do you have the wherewithal to take your mind and use it to its full potential? In order to do that, you gotta let go. You have to let go. And then in order to use it to its full potential, you have to be willing to really let it rip. I want to close with a quote from Albert Einstein. He says this. This is great. Physical concepts are free creations of the human mind and are not, however it may seem, uniquely determined by the external world. I'm going to read it again because it is Albert Einstein. Physical concepts are free creations of the human mind and are not, however it may seem, uniquely determined by the external world. So, the idea that your mind is constricted by anything is literally a misnomer. It's not true. Your mind is not limited by anything. There is nothing in your mind that has the capacity to hold you back or to stop you from having the most amazing life possible. The only thing that can do that is your free will. Your free will, your ability to choose, your ability to decide to pay attention to all this mishigash. I've turned Jewish today somehow. You know, that's the only thing. Your willingness to stop thinking what you need to be thinking. Are you willing to think the thoughts you want to think? Are you willing, because if the title of my talk is, It's Not What You Think, because guess what? It's not what you think. It's what you believe about what you think. And the problem is, what you think comes from what you believe. So pay attention to your thinking, because there's a reason you're thinking the things you're thinking. Because if you back it up, you're going to find out you believe something that causes those thoughts to come along. I always say, you know, if you know what you're thinking, then you can back it up to understand that's why you're feeling what you're feeling. And you feel what you feel because you believe what you believe. So it really does end up being all about your beliefs. And the first belief we have to really attack is this belief that there is anything in our past that could hold us back. Anything in our past that would stop us from moving forward. So as this month continues, I really urge you to really take this theme this month seriously. It is so important for us to be free form, free flow, to let ourselves flow honestly, with integrity, with respect, with creativity, with passion. So many people come to me for counseling saying that they just don't have passion for their lives. It's easy to see why. You don't like your job, you don't like your marriage, you're not happy here, you're not happy there. Where do you think passion's going to show up there? It's not. But for some reason, we have let ourselves be in lives of quiet desperation that just don't serve us. And we sang it last week, I'm letting go of all the things that no longer serve me. You get to do that. You deserve to do that. You are so powerful that in any moment you can decide to change your life. And it's not change your thinking, change your life. Because guess what? You can't just go at changing your thinking. Have you ever tried to just stand there and change your thinking? You can't just change your thinking because you got to change your belief. Because otherwise you're going to seep back to the way you're thinking based on the belief. The belief sets the stage for the thinking. So here's the belief. I am greatness on demand. Nothing holds me back. Nothing stops me from achieving my goals. There is that within me that knows what it knows. There is that within me that is ready to experience the new. There is that within me that is willing and able to let go of anything that could possibly hold me back. There is that within me that is bigger than my biggest idea of me. Because that thing in me is the allness of life. And you can call it God, you can call it love, you can call it life force, you can call it Jeremiah. You can call it anything, but just realize that it's who you are. Because if you know who you are, then you'll really get it. It's not about what you're thinking, it's about what you're believing. And when you believe the truth of who you are, then you walk this planet as a very, very different person. And as Albert Einstein says, you are not attached to anything. You are free to decide whatever you want to decide. So here's your month. Let it all go. And then make the choices that make your life bigger and better than ever before. Namaste.